Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another very cool video. As you guys just saw, I don't know if you could tell straight away, I got a fuel cell kit. I got a whole kit from Evil Energy. I actually got it on Black Friday. That's how long it's been since I've gotten it. But I was waiting on some parts. They didn't send me some stuff, but I finally got all of it. So we got a full cell, PTFE lines, fittings everywhere, 2 fuel filters, a pump, I don't know, various odds and ends, mounting brackets, stuff like that. So that should be everything we need to get a full fuel cell system in the car. And let me show you what else I got. Okay, so what else I got was this, which if you can't tell right away, it's a spare tire delete because the fuel cell that I'm putting in is actually gonna be going in the trunk. So we're gonna get all the shit out of the trunk, the transmission's in there, a few other odds and ends parts that probably just need to be thrown in the garbage. We're gonna get that out, and we're cutting the spare wheel well out. So if you know on the E30, I'll show a picture of it. It dips down below where the spare tire sits. I'm not running a spare tire. I'm not running one in there at least. Since it's gonna be a drift car, my spare tires are just gonna be at the paddock or whatever the hell you wanna call it. So we're cutting that out. This is some fairly thin aluminum, but it's super nice because it's already, I forget what it's called. Beaded? Bead roller, that's what it's called. And I've got this angled sport piece that I don't know if it's gonna go on this side or the other to give it some horizontal support. Came with rivets as well. I've got a rivet gun, so what we have to do is, like I said, cut out that spare wheel well, and then there's also insulation around it. I was planning on getting some dry ice, and I might still do this, you know, down the road. And if you don't know, there's a quick way to get rid of dry ice, or to get rid of insulation in the car if you have some of that old, like, really stuck on stuff instead of scraping it. You take dry ice and a little bit of, it's either rubbing or isopropyl alcohol, one of the two, mix it together because it helps it freeze a lot quicker. You put it on that insulation and it'll immediately freeze and start like cracking and popping, and then you could just like whack it with a hammer or something something heavy, and it'll all just shatter and you could just scoop it up and take it out. It's super nice. You don't have to scrape it all out. But for the purposes of this video, I wasn't able to get it, so I'm just gonna scrape a little bit around the edges to try and just give me enough to get this thing bolted down. Thankfully, it's already got the holes pre-drilled and everything, so I'm just gonna line it up where I want it, drill the holes in, and then just get the rivets started and start working my way around. I also scored this fuel rail off of eBay that came with injectors for 30 bucks. The injectors are obviously pretty grody, but as you know, I didn't have any, so this was a cheap way to get some. So what we're gonna do in this video is we're gonna take them off, and there's a guy up in New York that rebuilds them and stuff like that. So he's gonna take them, he's gonna flow test them, make sure they're not cracked or anything like that. He's gonna rebuild them, refresh them, send them back to me. If there are any that are broken, he's just gonna go ahead and replace them for me as well. So we're gonna take them off in this video, get this rail cleaned up, and probably hit it with some paint, because it's, actually, it's pretty solid. There's a little bit of rust right there. I might sand down a little bit of it and hit it with a fresh coat of paint, but we'll see. Yeah, there we go. Oh. All right, I got all the injectors off. Took a little bit of effort. You can see it's, maybe you can't see. You can't really see on the camera, but it was pretty rusty and crusty in there, so that's why they were kind of stuck. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up, and I'm pretty tempted to paint it the same color. I still have some left. I'm just kind of thinking, I know this is kind of hidden down in there, and maybe the black will not look too bad. Actually, it doesn't look too bad, but I'm thinking the silver would really pop. So I might put forth the extra effort and just go ahead and do that. Just because you guys know I have to be extra. I told myself I wouldn't do it, and I got gold fucking hardware all over my engine. I repainted the valve cover that didn't need to be painted. So, sorry. That I think will be good enough. Good enough. I don't think this is actually the same color. I think it's this that I used before, but I have very little left of this. So I'm gonna do a couple layers with this one and then hopefully just do 1 or 2 layers with this at the end to get the right color. And remember kids, you're not supposed to paint in like less than 45-degree weather right now. It's 18 degrees outside, so let's get started. This is so stupid. Whatever, fuck it. All right, let's let it dry. Man, what a difference from 3 days ago. We went from snow and ice everywhere and 20 degrees to now it's 50 and everything is melting. So back to what we were doing. I got the last coat of paint on this. It looks like shit, but I think it looks better than it did before, so we're just gonna run it. I'm gonna let that dry. We're not gonna take the tape off or install it or anything yet because I still gotta wait for the injectors to come back. But I did also grab this tap and die set from my dad that we're gonna borrow. Try not to hit the paint. It's got everything we need. It's got the handles and all the taps that I should need. If not, because I'm not sure if, yeah, this is a standard one, so I won't be using any of the actual like taps in here. I'll just be using the handle. And I'm gonna tap this hole out, see if it works. My thoughts are, I don't think I did the JB weld right. It's pretty brittle in there, so I think my mixture was a little bit off. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna throw, if it taps in and if a screw thread's in there, I'm gonna throw some blue Loctite on there just to kind of get it to seal in there. At least with the blue Loctite and it being brittle, if I need to take that bolt out at some point, it'll be able to come out easy enough, but at least that bolt should stay in there and not rattle itself out. So that's the plan. Let's go ahead and get to work. I also, just in my free time the other day, I started painting this trim piece, which if you can see from here, it is, where's my finger? Is that piece right there, right behind the rear window. I never had one on the other side. I ordered one that, well, I ordered 2 that I thought were black and they ended up being gray. So they needed to be repainted anyway. So I hit this with a coat. I hit this with a coat when it was like 10 degrees outside. Came out like shit, but it's nice and dry now. So I'm gonna hit it with another coat of my perfectly matched white BMW paint in the form of Toyota Perfect Match paint. It'll match the 8 other shades of white on the car. So I'm gonna hit that with a couple more coats. I'm not gonna show you guys. You guys have seen me paint a million things. So next thing you'll see is me seeing if this tap works. Okay, I'm gonna spare you guys that that 10 minutes that I just wasted. Even though this threading actually went okay, and this sleeve on the timing cover fits in, this hole is too small to fit any bolt through that would go into there. And I'm not gonna drill this out. I'm not gonna redo that. So we're just gonna put it in and not run a bolt for now. So I believe we can go ahead and install this spaghetti now. Okay, so it does look like this is the correct orientation. Obviously, I've not really set timing or anything like that, so this will probably have to come off at some point. This plastic cover is also not in the best of shape, so it might be getting replaced, but I would like to at least have everything set up where it should be. Just another mental win, you know, just kind of visualizing everything. Aha, I have learned something. If you remember many videos ago when we were doing this, I was wondering why these 2 studs were longer. This, that holds the plug wires, these two mounts go over here. Very clever. Okay. So I need to take the zip tie off. I need to get all these wires actually like fed through here well and out where they need to go, and then onto here and down into the spark plugs. Easy enough. All right. I know this goes somewhere. I don't know where that somewhere is, so don't look at it. But got all these on there now. This is on. It's starting to really look like an engine now. That's going to do it for today. I don't know when I'm going to be able to work on this next, or what I have next, because I do want to get a couple more things. Like I still need to run and get the dry ice for the insulation in the trunk, and get all that stuff together. And that honestly might be a part 2 of this, because I know I've spent a lot of time working on this stuff already. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait for my injectors to get back. We're gonna finish up the fuel rail. We're gonna put the injectors and the fuel rail all on the engine, and then we're gonna call that part 1 done. It's just gonna be the engine side of the whole fuel and ignition system. And then part 2, we're actually gonna be working in the car, putting the fuel cell in. So I will see you guys all in a couple days when the injectors come back. Hello everyone, good afternoon. It's been a few days, but I've got my injectors back from being rebuilt. So we're gonna continue on that. We're gonna get them all on the intake manifold, get that all installed on the engine. And that should be about it for the fuel system on the engine side. So I sent these off to my buddy up in New York, and he was able to get them all. Let's see if I can one-hand this. He was able to get them all rebuilt and tested, so even though they're kind of grody and look like shit, they're actually good to go. So essentially what I need to do is just stick this end down into here, and then it mounts like this with these going down in here. Basically just going to be something like that all put together. It should be pretty straightforward. I'm pretty sure these just push into here. I think there's clips that I need that I don't have, but I should be able to add those after, because I think they just slide in these little slots right here just to prevent it from coming out or doing something. I don't know. I think it kind of squeezes it together, but that can be added later. So let's just go ahead and get this all buttoned up. Looks really good. I think I told you guys, but I don't remember the name of this part, but I got that off of eBay. Make sure it's all tight, yeah. And I got it installed. I don't remember if I showed you guys earlier in the video, so if I did, forgive me. But if I did, you may not even see this part, so. All right, let's clean up real quick. And I think to cap this off, I'm gonna go ahead and stick the intake manifold back on. I'm not gonna torque it down yet, just because I'm not sure if maybe it's easier to take it off to install like part of the wiring harness or, you know, what have you. So, but let's get you guys flipped around and put this on. Oh, this thing's getting heavy now. Oh! Almost. How did I just do that? Yes! Ah! That is a very tight fit. Pause. Okay. Looks like I need to take these off in order to get this bracket on there. That's fine. So I need to take this bracket off to remove it, to put these on, to put those on, put that in, put those over there, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay, cool. Well, that's good. Okay, I got everything on here done and installed. I got this bracket all secured. And nicely, it holds this into place. So I don't actually need to throw any of the nuts on right now. It's all fine. It's all stuck in there for now. So that is a job well done. I'm going to call it here for this video because it's a good stopping point. I got everything on the engine fuel side done, at least as far as I know. There might be something I'm missing. So in the next video you guys see with the BMW, we're going to be working on the car itself, where we're going to cut out the spare wheel well, install a fuel cell, run all the lines, everything like that. That's going to be a doozy. That's probably going to be a long video because I don't know what I'm doing. It's the first time I'm doing this, so we're going to learn together. One thing I want to close out with real quick is, you guys know I installed the wiring harness on this car, right? So I got it all ran. You guys remember, all hooked up, ready to go. So I went to install the Mega Squirt because it looked like it was going to be super easy. And I grabbed the ECU pin connector. And if you know anything about E30s, you know why this is a problem. Let me show you. So that pin connector has 2 rows, if you could tell, 2 rows of pins going across. And the Mega Squirt ECU that I'm installing, where the hell, where'd I put it? Oh. Has 3 rows of pins. Now, I did quite a lot of research because I wasn't sure if I had the wrong Mega Squirt ECU, if there was a connector I needed, an adapter, something like that. As it turns out, it is the wiring harness for this car, but if you guys remember early on, if you've been here since then, this is actually a 325e chassis, and I have a 325i engine and transmission. So it's the 2.5 liter instead of the 2.7 out of the e-car. Oh shit, it's starting to rain. I'm gonna wrap this up. Long story short, that was the wiring harness for the e-car. So it's for a 2.7, completely different engine, isn't gonna work. And I was devastated. I'm like, damn, I'm gonna have to like either come up with a wiring harness or do something. Then I remembered I had some loose wiring in the shed. Started looking through it. I'm like, okay, this all looks promising. And then, boom, baby! Exactly what I needed. So unfortunately, I am going to have to rewire the whole engine side of the car. But at least I don't have to buy it, because that was probably going to be $100 for a crappy one, $250 for a nice one. So that's good. It's just going to be a little bit of work. It's not more money, thankfully. So we're going to tackle that. Honestly, I don't even think I'm going to film it. It's kind of annoying trying to film wiring. It's not interesting for you guys. Maybe I'll just time lapse it while I'm working on it and stuff it into one of the videos. But either way, we're going to be getting that knocked out, and then I'll show you guys hooking up the Mega Squirt and stuff like that. I did clarify that the one that I have is actually the plug-and-play system, which is super awesome. It means I can just plug it in, go to DIY Auto Tune. I think they have off-the-shelf tunes, so I can just plug that into a laptop and just be good to go. So I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you all so much for watching. I love you. Bye.